Hey guys, welcome back to Star Signs. This last sign I will be doing, it's Capricorn. Capricorn is from December 22nd to January 19th. Capricorn is the strongest sign of the zodiac. Now, all of you can scream and argue about this, but it's absolutely true. This is an endurance sign. If you notice, in any group, there's always Capricorn acting as a leaning post holding everybody together. The Capricorn has a heavy intellectual side that almost always seeps into the emotional area. People say, gee, Capricorns are so intellectualized, but there's so much that way that they're almost frantic about it. Frantic about it. I don't think people realize to what extent it is intellectualized emotion as opposed to the Sagittarius individual who has the pure intellect. Even Virgos tend toward intellectualizing the metaphysical aspects of life. Capricorns are the plotters. They love obstacles. Watch them. If there's no Mount Everest, they'll make one just to prove that they can climb over it. If you don't give Capricorns a challenge, they become very irate and fidgety. Now, they're not trouble seekers, but they're definitely the planners, absolutely determined to succeed in any venture. Here is something I plan to do, and by God, I'm going to do it. They may even go out and tear up the whole backyard just so they can tell you how tired they are. Capricorns are analytical to the point that it really drives you crazy. They will say on Tuesday, no, it was Wednesday, because on Wednesday it rained and I wore the blue suit. No, it couldn't have been the blue suit. It was pinstripe. Nope, because that was the day I wore that. By the time they get through, you don't really care what they're saying. Air signs will not be able to listen to such nitpicky details. They will just blow it off and forget it. If you start nitpicking with air signs, they will go right up the wall saying, cut that out! Capricorns, like Sagittarians, will not only tell you which movie they saw, but will compare it to all the other movies they've seen, citing the dialogue of each. They've memorized the dialogue of course, and they will tell you that so-and-so sang this, then they will sing it for you, and then so-and-so looked at their horse and said such and such. They have all the minute details. They will even tell you about the interior of the theater, how they got there, what they ate before, as if you give a darn, right? One marvelous thing about Capricorns is their tremendous retentive memory. If you ever cause any kind of a stink with these individuals, they will name the date and the time that you caused it. Capricorns are totally analytical about everything. They will also correct you on things you originally said. They will say, could I have that again, please? When you repeat it, they may say, that is not what you said. You left out the if from the second phrase. It is not exactly the way you said it the first time. You actually said it like this. Yes, they've got terrible retentive memories to the point of exasperation, and you say, I don't give a hoot how I said it. Did you get the concept? And with no obvious bother, they will reply, no, the concept is not right unless you get the wording right. Capricorns are not the phobic ones of the zodiac. You very rarely see true Capricorns with a full-blown phobia. They don't tolerate it. You won't find them with a height fright, acrophobia, or fear of wide open spaces, agoraphobia, or whatever. They simply do not have any time for it. Capricorns are great humanitarians. They will tell you that if the world was how they wanted it to be, everybody would be better off because everything would be systemized. They're sweet and easy to get along with. They really are. They're not vindictive, and I think they have the most wonderful laugh in the world. You can never get too mad at them. They start out with a haha and then they burst into this marvelous laugh, whereas Virgos laugh through their noses snorting. Capricorns love nothing more than poking fun at themselves. They're the best sports of the zodiac. You say to the Capricorn, you walk like this, and they will die laughing. Do an imitation of them, and they also erupt in peals of laughter. However, everyone should have a Capricorn as a pet. The Capricorn is really quite fenced in, very internalized. They do have depth, their retentive memory shows that, but they do not want people to know their vulnerable spots. That's why parents should be very careful with these children. Capricorns are among the most sensitive signs of the zodiac. Capricorns do not have time to bleed over things. They are not a superficial sign. In fact, air signs are more superficial than the earth signs, unless there's something else in their chart that is very strong. You'll find that most of your Libras, Geminis, and Aquarians are superficial in their behavior. If you show Capricorns beyond a shadow of a doubt that your way is better, they will totally do it your way. And if you get them to believe in something such as parapsychology, they are usually lifetime believers. They're like that about anything. If they believe in something, they believe in it for life. They continue to be into something long after everyone else is sick to death of it. They are not faddish people. Capricorns are immaculate dressers. They have a beautiful way of knowing what colors go with what. Capricorns, even if they're casually dressed, will look like they did it on purpose. Nothing is askew with them. I know many Capricorns people, and when they dress sloppily, it is done on purpose. My brother-in-law, her brother-in-law, is such a typical Capricorn that even when he is in his ricky, ticky, taffy clothes, he has little matching tennies, little matching shorts, and a little matching top. He says, I really look like a slob. But of course, he looks just fine. Capricorns are tremendous spenders. Here's where they are a little faddish, which does not fit them at all because nothing else in their life is faddish. But if someone shows them a chrome bird that hangs and is a new thing, they'll buy it. If they go to an antique store, they'll buy the Cupid doll with a clock in its stomach and put it up on the mantle. Cupid threw me. You know, I say that word sometimes, and reading it threw me there. You say yuck, but they do it almost for the shock factor. I think it's the only thing they do to shock you, but they really feel that the item is gorgeous. Of course, they will tell you, if you don't want it, I do. I just love it. You say, oh, it's nice. Brother-in-law has a rooster with metal stuff hanging off of it, which sits on his stereo. This thing is horrible, but he loves it. If you go into a true Capricorn's house, you'll think you're in a hospital. Everything is clean and in its place. Capricorns can get upset over soap that's smeared on the side of the sink, so they have to have everything nice. They also go in for very, very spicy foods. You will see Capricorns adding chili powder and Tabasco to everything. But males and females will neglect their bodies. Then they'll suddenly go on a ferocious health kick. They tell you they're going to fast jog and eat sunflower seeds for 3 years. What's also marvelous about Capricorns is that they have a tremendous resiliency in health. They can break everything in their body, and 2 days later they're up running around, and they're also very paranoid about their health. If they're phobic about anything, it's their health. So you'll see them going for long bouts where they're into health food, jogging, lifting weights, or whatever strikes them. Capricorn is usually very well charted, except for a few paradoxes, such as buying those crazy things and a few health kicks, but usually you can chart Capricorns right down the line because they follow that pattern. You will not usually find a Capricorn with an addictive personality. They simply won't stand for it. If they ever drink too much or smoke pot in their early days, they will usually right themselves immediately. They will tell you they don't like it, and they never did like it, and they don't like anybody that does like it, even though they were into it at one time. They aren't really affair people. Speaking of sexual affairs, if they ever do happen to get into infidelity situations, they're usually very morose and penitent about it, so they're not the philanderers of the zodiac. The sex life of Capricorns, like I said, is usually very intellectualized. Now, there's something everyone's intellectual sex life. Their intellectualization, they intellectualize everything. Put hand here, rub 3 times, rotate, cut on dotted line. They're directing the entire time they're making love. However, they don't like crude language, swearing, or obscenity. Libra males, on the other hand, are the lovers of the zodiac. They say, come here, baby. Capricorns will start reading something, become obsessive about it. Not only that, but they're in love with words. They don't have a large vocabulary, but if you give them a word such as sycophant, they will say, oh, that's lovely. What does it mean? Then they'll use the word in a sentence. They are the people who like a word of the day. The next time you hear them talk, they will have used your word. It's usually in the wrong place, but who cares? Physical characteristics. Capricorns are prone to have neuralgia and arthritis. They really have a problem with their joints, which stiffen up, crack, and creak at a very early age. They snap, crackle, pop, and can actually stop
their ankles and elbow joints to pieces. It's caused by dry sockets. They need an awful lot of oil and lubrication. They really ought to take lecithin, vitamins A and E, and lubricants because they're so creaky.
Okay, my battery died, and now I'm going to finish this. Most of the time, any kind of arthritic problem is due to a person having too much unbridled energy. Capricorn has such energy and it goes into their joints, so tell Capricorns very early in life to dissipate some of the energy they carry. This will prevent the arthritis from developing. But watch out, telling Capricorns to slow down for a while is like giving them a death sentence. They have to lie on the outside of the covers in a hospital knowing that they can get up at any time. They don't like to be sick. If you notice, Capricorns have very small faces and heads. They are truly the pinheads of the zodiac. They are very well formed, but they have these little itty bitty faces. And you wonder if you look at true Capricorns, how they get everything into that one little space: eyes, nose, mouth, and so on. They usually have very sharp, prominent features, which help with these optical illusions of the small heads. Capricorns always look intellectual. Did you ever see a dumb-looking Capricorn? They always have a way of looking smart. You never see Capricorn walking around looking like they're saying, duh. Even Capricorns are tall, they always look somewhat delicate. They can be very tall, strong as a horse, and very angular looking, but they have a delicate carry about them. Even the males, you're afraid that they'll break, or they're not too sturdy. They have small bones. This is very deceptive because they have tremendous stamina, so don't be thrown off by their delicate, dainty stuff. Capricorns are very finger and hand-oriented people, too, which is quite unusual for an earth sign. You will see them moving their fingers or their hands a lot, rubbing at a thumbnail, or rubbing or fiddling with a finger. And that is it for all the star signs. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I know it was pretty much me reading from a book and telling you guys about my sign. But anyways, I am going to go because I need to charge the battery for this fully. And it's hot as hell in here. So maybe tomorrow. No. Yes. You will probably see it tomorrow. I'm going to film something and it's going to be sporadic and I have to script it out before. Anyways, I'm going to go.